we made a trip. We're on 64. We're headed off of 64 to through Mill Shoals, where my cousin Carl's father is from, and we're in Enfield, and where my father grew up, Carol's father and Carl's mother. And this is Mule Day. So a lot of the towns in White County had different days in the fall, whether it's Mule Day or Corn Day or Dairy Day. So this is North City. And as you can tell, they're really not real large communities, but just a little about our beginnings in White County. His wife went with the children to White County, and she is listed in the 1840 White County census. She died in White County in 1842. So they came here in 1818, and then she passed away in 1842. There were 7 children, and I have those listed here. We see that 6 of the children migrated to White County. So you think this whole family of Johannes, I mean, I don't know whether they didn't like North Carolina or what, but they wanted to move on. And so 6 of the 7 moved to White County. It was only, and this was by way of Tennessee, only James is the one that remained in Tennessee. So the first one, Charlotte, she married Elijah Gerald in Stokes County, which is where they all were basically located. And they moved to Illinois in 1830. And she is buried in Bruce Chapel Cemetery. They had 6 children. Now, James, the one that stayed in Tennessee, married a Susan Denton in 1791. And they moved to Tennessee before 1820. He died in the 1840s and is buried in Williamson County, Tennessee. And that happens to be, for those of you who know Nashville, just south of Nashville, near Franklin. And they have a record that we know of 3 children. Now, William, the next one down, married a Sarah Merricks or Merrill in 1814. And she died after childbirth of William Ashbury Bolerjack. And she is buried in the Bolerjack Cemetery in North Carolina. And she was only 26. And 1817, he married Eleanor Forster, which is another. And they moved to Tennessee in the 1820s and then moved to White County between 1830 and 40. And there's little proof of his children, except this William Asbury, but possibly 3 others. Mary, all we know about her is that she married a Bennett Hargrove in 1817. And we do know that our my John E. Was a witness to that marriage. Now, John E. is my direct line, and he was born in 1795 in Stokes County, North Carolina. And he was the one that moved to White County in 1818 with his brother Joel. Now, I find this, I'm kind of I'm a history junkie, but I think it's so interesting that they came in 1818, which was the year that Illinois became a state. So, they were really early settlers, and must have had a lot of drive and a lot of curiosity and just a lot of stamina to deal with probably all the challenges they had. Now, he married this Lucy, who was probably a sister of Rebecca Oyster. And Rebecca and Lucy were sisters. So we see, another combination of another family that was into the Bolerjack clan. And she died in Hamilton County, but was buried in Bruce Chapel Cemetery in White County, as was John. And they had 8 children: Elizabeth, James Kent, which is my line, Mary Matilda, James, Elvira, John R., John S., and Lucy E. And we've got a little bit of the exploring Bruce Chapel, which some of you know quite well, and others have never been there. It's right outside
Right
of
there.
right outside of Enfield. It's still, the church is still there. I know
Is
my
it
aunt,
used?
my aunt Lois used to play there, play the organ there. And I guess it's still functioning as a church, right? Yeah. So here's the cemetery. It's right on,
Beautifully mowed that lawn.
it's so nice. And right here is our ancestor, John Bolerjack, born in 1795, died in 1857.
That's John E.
Mhm. So the next one is Joel, and Joel is Mark's line. And he was born in 1800 in Stokes County, and he married Rebecca Forster in 1820 in White County. Joel and Rebecca were among the earliest members of the Ebenezer Methodist Church near North City. So Joel died of a brain fever in 1849. So he was only 49 years old. Both he and Rebecca are buried in Ebenezer. They had 11 children. The first 6 stayed in Illinois, and the last 5 moved to Missouri. So 11 children. And so here is Ebenezer. Across the road is what is that?
Oddfellows.
Oddfellows part of it. And this is the older section. And a lot of old.
I think that's the church entrance, there, those steps.
Probably. So this is Joel. This is Mark's ancestor, died at 49 years of age.
We couldn't read what that bottom line says, there. Blessed are the what?
Blessed are the.
Dead.
We need Joe's magic touch with that stone like he did.
So
the next one is Joel.
Maybe the just.
And Joel is, the last one is Elizabeth. And there are a lot of Elizabeths. We talked about a lot of Elizabeths. She was called Betsy, and she was born in 1803 in Stokes County. She's the female listed in the Illinois census with John and Joel. She married a Robert DeBoard, and he was born in North Carolina in 1822 in White County. And Robert was in a group of trustees that had 2 acres of land deeded to them to build a church. And this was for the Ebenezer Methodist Church. They paid $10 for the land, and this became the site of the church. And there's a debate and conflict concerning their children, but they seem to have had 7 children, and they are buried in Ebenezer. So my line is James Ellis, or James Kent, sorry. And he was born in 1822 in Indian Creek Township. He was self-taught school teacher from 1857 to 1861 in Sacramento, which is in White County. And he purchased land in White County in 1863-64. And they were members of the Methodist Episcopal Church in North City. They had 10 children, and he is buried in Big Hill Cemetery, Broughton in Hamilton County. So this is a little of James Kent and where he's buried at Big Hill. So the next one I'm going to talk about is George Whitfield. And he was also born in Indian Creek Township. And in 1870, he appeared in the census with Ivy and Martha DeBoard, who were the parents of Cora Elizabeth DeBoard Bolerjack.
Could you spell that last name, the DeBoard, what are you, the DeBoard or DeBoard?
DeBoard,
Now that's George Whitfield.
Whitfield, yeah.
right.
Okay.
And he was married to Martha.
You could turn.
So I have pictures over here in the album of them. I also have some interesting pictures of him after his wife passed away. So anyway, there's also a picture over there of her milking a cow. I don't know why anybody in that era would take a picture of somebody milking a cow, but she's pictured there. Okay, the next one is their house at this point. But way back when my parents went out to take a picture of it, they are buried in Albion Cemetery, which is near Dale in Hamilton County. This is a church, obviously no longer functioning. This is a relatively small cemetery. Very nicely. I mean, all the cemeteries in White County were so nicely mowed. This is his marker. And her. Okay, the next one. This was in the infield news about my James Ellis. He was born in 1889. And after passing a qualifying examination, he was licensed to teach school, starting his career at Hickory Valley. I don't know where that is in White County. The family tells that he was hired because he probably could whip the biggest kid in school. But he attended SIU in Carbondale. They had 3 children, one of which was my father. And I'm honored to have my cousins. Carl's mother was my father's sister, and then Carol Bolerjack Martin, her father was my father's brother. So just my father, Ira Bolerjack, was born on St. Patrick's Day, March 17, 1917 in Enfield. He married Margaret Spence, January of 1943. He was a well-educated man, became a teacher after serving in the military. His last position was as Dean of Kaskaskia College in Centralia, Illinois. And he died in January of 2006 in Marlton, New Jersey. And I am their only child. There we are. Yeah, really. It was one of those things. You couldn't have a colored flower if your mother was deceased. It was like, okay, here we go. Okay, here we go to primitive Baptist. He's really excited about this.
It's empty. It's empty.
Okay, Lick Creek, very close to my farm. This is Lick Creek. This primitive Baptist tombstone. All of my Spence line is, which was my